Mama Sports Talk worldwide with some news from the world of boxing. So y'all know what time it is. You ain't in a rush to get concussed. Now, we have the night of boxing, and it was pretty good, for people who like justice, actually. We had the face of boxing, and the number one pound for pound boxer, what most people think, or at least act like they think. People like us, we don't believe that he was ever the number one pound for pound fighter, but we do believe that Canelo Alvarez is a great fighter. I still believe Canelo Alvarez is a great fighter. I'm not saying good. I'm saying a great fighter. Where the issue always comes in, right, exclusively, is that we're calling him the very best, and that he's the face of boxing, and that he earns 5 times more than others, right? Dimitri Bivol is going to make between 2 and 5 million, depending on the pay-per-views, which won't be that much. Canelo is going to be making anywhere from 15 to 50 million, right? Probably 50 million. And that's just way too much more than the Dimitri Bivol. He was never that much better than Bivol or anyone else that we talk about. And so, therefore, you have your problems with Canelo, and because of it's just not just what's going on with him. But never will you say that Canelo is not a great fighter. Everyone knows now that he's lost to Dimitri Bivol pretty much of a landslide. I had it 119-112 because I give rounds even. A couple of them I give them even if I thought that Bivol beat him in that round, but barely. I kind of, it's just your subconscious, well, they're not going to give that round to Bivol if he barely won it, or he didn't win it by a landslide. So then I ended up giving a couple of those even. But I do understand some of the other cards. But the cards that I don't understand is the 115, 113, with all of the judges. We know what that time that is with Canelo. And everyone it's just an unwritten law that we're going to cheat for Canelo. And everybody is okay with it for years. But, I was watching the fight back, all right, and watching every round. It was a damn good fight from Dimitri Bivol. Dimitri Bivol, I would have to say counter-punching and punching with Canelo. When Canelo would throw those hard, heavy shots to stay in the inside and retaliate with combinations, not just one punch, combinations where Canelo had to really go into defense, really had to back up. Those things are impressive. And I also knew that Canelo's stamina would be an issue, right? I knew that was going to happen, and it is. When Canelo throws those hard punches, and Dimitri Bivol said he throws those hard punches, and then after throwing those hard punches, he needs to relax, and that's when Dimitri Bivol would go on attack, right? So I kind of knew that his cardio is not that. Canelo always have fatigue problems, right? But I'm going to say this about Canelo. The dude has a chin, right? I know that Canelo has been hurt once. Someone tells me Matthew Hatton had him hurt or something. I've heard. I don't go back and watch that because the bottom line is I've watched Canelo in enough fights to determine that he has a great chin. Everyone has gotten hurt or stumbled before. Canelo has a great chin. It is also his defense because he doesn't take anything flush because he's always moving his head. You come, he'll move it. If you hit him, he'll move it. Stuff like that. But, with Canelo, with the fights he's been in, he's got a pretty good chin. I understand that the guys he fought at 168, which we'll get to, weren't the biggest punchers. But just when he outweighed most of his opponents, right? I understand that. But when you're looking at Golovkin, you're looking at Bivol, he has taken some shots. And he's still there. It hasn't been wobbled or hurt. Now, I'm not saying he hasn't fought the punchers, the real punchers, in any division, like a better Biev at 175, and the guys we're going to talk about at 168 in a minute here. But I just want to say this. I was watching, when I watched it the second time, I was watching with my lady, and she just said something that I just want to quote, right? He could say, oh, that guy looks like he's taking steroids. This is what a person who doesn't really even know Canelo, watch Canelo and Bivol. Oh, he looks Chinese. Stuff like that you'll hear. Bivol, he looks like a Chinese guy a little bit, right? Those are the kind of things that comes from a person just watching and don't really know anybody. And she said that other guy looks like he's taking steroids. Talking about the bumps on his face. I was like, funny you say that. I'm gonna write that down. Because actually he did do that a couple of times. right? He said, it was kind of funny. I just wanted to mention that. There's just a person just watching, not really into Canelo or anybody else, just to come up and say that. Probably seeing things that we don't even see, because we just look past it. Well, he got away with taking clenbuterol, so we ain't going to talk about Canelo and doping no more. I got a mosquito in here, and I'm going to get him. You know what I'm saying? Flies I can let go, but the mosquito, I'm going to get him. You know what I mean? Anyway, something else I just want to mention, just me. Now, when I watched Bivol, I just noticed he had no tattoos. And I was thinking, something? That's a strong-willed guy. Because young people, let's say under 40 right now, and especially under 30, everybody gonna have tattoos because everybody has tattoos now. It's almost, when you don't, you're weird almost. It's a strong-willed person to not just do what everyone else is doing. Even if you don't like it, some people just do it. Like you go out, and you don't have no tattoos, and your boy does, and the lady's going to him talking about, oh, I like that tattoo. Then 2 weeks later, you can go to that same place and you gonna have some. So people do follow. So it's funny or interesting to see a person that's like, well, I don't have any. Especially guys that are fit, have nice bodies. Tattoos are part of the outfit. So for that, seeing that showed me, he's a strong-willed guy, and that's why he was saying, when it comes to Canelo, I'm not worried that he was first on the poster. I'm not worried that he was walking out second, right? And he said something that I thought was very important to hear from a Russian guy that is a Caucasian, to hear it, because people listen then. This is something a black guy would say and people wouldn't even give a damn. But I'm going to say this, plus at the same time I'm going to get this damn mosquito. I'm going to say this. He said the rules don't apply to him. And that's what we complain about. So he just didn't care. That's why he has a strong will. Like, the rules don't apply to him and whatever. But it's cool to him say that on a press conference, because that is the bottom line about everything in boxing and why you come on and complain about Canelo. Because I really don't want to even talk about him, because I don't want to give him any props for anything, because it's not right. But yes, that's the issue. The rules do not apply to Canelo. That's why it's good riddance. And here's another thing. I'm going to say it again like I said in the first video. Canelo's going to probably have to go down to 168 pounds. It's going to really be very interesting to find out who Canelo he fights next, and especially get paid big money to do so. Because you're not going to be able to fight a Makabu or anybody easy, because people are going to see now why you're doing that. Right? More people are going to see why. Because every Mexican follower is not racist enough to say, I'm just going to follow Canelo blindly because of nationalistic reasons. Right? Some really think he's the very best. And those now are going to say, okay, well, he's probably not the very best, or this guy was too big. So when you go to 168, you're going to have to fight somebody good now. You see? And the problem with that is, yeah, are you going to fight David Morrell, David Benavidez, Demetrius Andrade at 168? If not, it's going to look silly fighting anybody. So it will be interesting to watch who Canelo picks next. But, back to something very important, the rules do not apply to him. That's a quote from Dimitri Bivol. So guys, yeah, Canelo has lost. Let's see what happens going forward. Maybe he does some good things. Maybe he also switches trainers, because sometimes you need another trainer to give you a different outlook or a different tactic. So let's see what happens going forward. We don't want to bash Canelo too much, but we should. But I'm not going to not going to front here. It's good that he lost, so the industry can learn from this, right? That's what it's about. It's not only Canelo, it's about the whole boxing industry. Everybody's playing the same damn game, knowing he's not the very best, but still calling him that. We're sick of that. Get that the hell out of here. That's what this is all about, guys. Doma Sports Talk, worldwide. And I'm about to hear you.